Should you be overlooked from professional accolades because of your personal views?
Should you be overlooked from professional accolades? So the BBC have been criticised for snubbing J.K. Rowling after the Harry Potter author was omitted from the broadcaster's list of 70 books to mark the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So when we saw this list and J.K. Rowling isn't on it, and your question implies that you think it's because of the political views or her views on, presumably, gender identity ideology, that old chestnut. What do you think?
I think that should your personal views prohibit you from being on a certain list? I think it depends on what your personal views are, and I think it depends on what your work is.
Right.
Like, for example, if you are if you're an architect and you build a bridge and everybody can use that bridge and that's what you've built, and that's great, then I'd say keep the bridge. Sounds like a great bridge. If you've written a book and it's a great book and it is a wonderful adventure of children and wizards, great, keep the book. But if you've built a bridge and let's say that you are a horrible person who is a misogynist, you hate women, and all over the bridge you've got pictures of women being hit with sticks. And women...
Where is this bridge? This is a theoretical bridge.
This is a theoretical bridge, my darling.
OK.
So, figure the mask in Florence. So, you've got all this bridge and there's all these, like, these women, and women are ugly, and women are terrible, and women are stupid, and you've put your ideological beliefs all over this bridge. Now, I'd say no. I would say we don't even want the bridge.
OK, so let's run with that a little bit then. So when we talk about J.K. Rowling, whose books are not about trans issues, they're about wizards.
Yes.
So am I wrong in thinking, or am I right in thinking that you assume, therefore, her views on gender identity ideology shouldn't have anything to do with this?
I don't think they should have anything to do with it. I think the book is the book, and she should get in on the merit of the book.
Well, also, I'd like to add that her views are not in any way controversial or
No, they're really
unpleasant.
Not. She literally has asked questions, and she's been lambasted for asking questions.
It's an odd one, isn't it? Do you like J.K. Rowling? Do you like the Harry Potter books?
No, because I'm not an 8-year-old child.
Right, well, fair enough.
And I'd also like to ask, what's J.K. Rowling ever done for the book industry?
But, I mean, presumably you don't care about which books are on the list either, but do you think...
Yeah, because books are boring. Honestly, I read a book once. It was like watching a TV show, but you had to put work in.
Yeah, OK, I don't think...
to read it and then do it in my mind. And for some reason, I'm paying them for this. I'm doing most of the work
I don't think you're the target audience for the book industry.
Right.
I don't think it's...
Ironically, it felt like when I see some people's transitions, I'm like, why am I having to do all the work in my head?
Yes. Right, look, but do you think that given that J.K. Rowling has made some contribution to the world of literature, I should say, let's say that as an understatement, she should have been included just in a matter of principle?
Yeah, she should have obviously been included. And also it's funny that about 2.5 minutes ago, like, her opinions were the absolute correct woke opinions. She was, she was this left-wing feminist single mother who created all this industry out of nothing, and she was held aloft as a champion. And now she's being, trodden into the dirt as some evil witch because she thinks that a bloke with a beard can't call himself a woman. It's,
So this is the big question, isn't it, Diane, about the way in which it's so easy. I mean, Leo makes a good point that at one point she was sort of the darling of the left, and now she's been monstered. So it is almost as though no one is safe. Like anyone can just suddenly be attacked.
No one is safe. It is cannibalism. And what it is that the most extreme people they kind of go full circle and they become the most oppressive and fascist in a way. And the way that she's been treated is absolutely awful. She is literally a national treasure. And all she's doing is saying, women have a cervix. She's literally stating a fact.
Well, it's interesting, though, because I often...
It's not even an opinion, though.
I often get in debates about this because I'm stupid and I go on Twitter and people talk about how evil she is, how transphobic she is, and I always say the same thing, which is, can you just quote the transphobic thing she said? Just quote it. And they never can. They link to bad faith articles or they link to Twitter threads that explain why she's secretly transphobic but doesn't say. It's like, just quote. Just one quote. That's all I'm asking, and it never, ever happens. What's going on there?
Yeah, no, she's clearly not transphobic. She's openly said she supports transgender people. She just has some issues around, female-only spaces and sport and all the rest of it.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
The reason they can't quote it is because it doesn't exist. And I just think adults should recognise that. OK, I can't quote it. I can't find the evidence. Maybe I ought to revise my beliefs, right? That's what an adult does.
Yeah, but why are
absolutely.
they so keen to tear down somebody who's created this beautiful fantasy land that's like it's inspired so many children, inspired so many like films, spin-offs, musicals, and I just don't get why people are so angry at her.
Well, it's worse than that because they're angry at an imaginary version of her that they've created and it's become like a collective hysteria. So they're all angry at this folk devil, this monster of the imagination. But what disturbs me about it is there are so many people buying into the myth. Not just the activists, by the way. So I hear mainstream commentators in the media just casually saying things like, yes, J.K. Rowling, who's known for her transphobic views. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're just making this up. Mass delusion is what
And
it
the
is.
actors who were made famous by the films, and like Emma Watson?
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson, who's in the film, and she's constantly on TV, castigating J.K. Rowling and standing up for women like me. And
And Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint.
And you've got to wonder, you've got to wonder which branch of McDonald's these people would be working in if it wasn't for J.K. Rowling.
I do have to say, of all those child actors in those films, Emma Watson is the worst. I mean, she's just terrible. She just can't act. Just going to say it. Anyway, just can't act and didn't get any better. So maybe just keep your mouth shut.